base into the subbase underneath that. Normally used up here is a crushed limestone base, which also sets up somewhat after it's been down and dried out. Cut grade, which is a clay material, as you can see by the songs coming out of there. It just came out, it's kind of a reddish brown in color, predominantly clay. There's a lot of gravel in these soils, as you can see as we pull up and look around over there. It might be better classified as a gravelly clay than a sandy clay, but for our purposes, it fits into the same cell anyway. It's predominantly clay, which puts it into the fine-grained category on subgrade. Down into it below the pavement, below the fill layer, into the typical red clay that we have in this part of the country. Yeah, it's the remains of the asphalt concrete after it had been augered out. There's the crushed limestone base, which is a grayish color. Then there's getting into the subbase of the prepared road bed. And then there's the subgrade, which is a red clay. Looking down in the hole, excuse me, you may be able to see a dark line down there near the bottom. That's about 8 1/4 inches down, and that's the seal coat which separates the asphalt concrete from the crushed limestone base. Incidentally, that was about the only way we could really gather where the asphalt concrete left off and where the crushed limestone base began, because with the fines in it, the crushed limestone had set up to the point that you really couldn't tell scraping around by color or anything else. You had to get down to where there was enough asphalt to where you could see a color change. The test section for 14127 on US 72, we're up in North Alabama. Okay, you can see the permanent marker place there is the yellow paint in the cotton spindle there, right at the edge of the paved shoulder. And the other thing which distinguishes the beginning of the test section would be that the beginning of the paved ditch, as I pointed out before. And you start seeing what I mean in terms of cracking having developed quite extensively throughout the length of the test section. You also see some other identifying monuments out there, like the beginning of the curb over there on the inside, and then where you widen out to have the left turn lane up there, which is going to serve a nice purpose when we're out here doing the drilling and sampling. It'll allow us to detour the traffic around us quite easily, particularly when they're putting in the test pit. Okay, I'm going to wind up staying fairly closely focused here in order to try and show some of the distress within this test section as I go on up. I don't think I'll be able to get out into the lane, so I'll walk along here and try to show it where you can see both of the lane lines here, and therefore get some perspective as far as the cracking. Okay, as we saw on some other test sections before, what we have here is essentially a hybrid, it seems, between block cracking, longitudinal, transverse, and alligator cracking. It's probably best referred to as simply fatigue cracking, and it seems rather common in this part of the country. Something else which is quite interesting that I wanted to point out here, and this extends up to around, right in between stations 1 and 2. You can see the cracks there that form almost a straight line. Well, looking at it a little bit more closely here, you can see that line is running right down where apparently a truck had a blowout and ran down its rim and gouged the pavement surface, and therefore cut a weakened plane into it. I've seen only one other instance of that, and that was over in Orlando on another